my favorite day of the year, Hamilton Christmas. Hamilton Christmas is our little nickname for Supercrawl, which is this massive street festival in downtown Hamilton. And once a year, hundreds of vendors and hundreds of artists and musicians and 100,000 people flood downtown Hamilton for this huge arts festival. Today is the Saturday of the Supercrawl. It's the biggest day, and Meg and I, hi Meg, Meg and I are walking down to a venue called Mills Hardware because I am part of a storytelling event that's happening today. Over the years, as I've talked to creators and artists and entrepreneurs and anyone who takes a creative risk, I've noticed that they all have one thing in common. There's a text that cuts to the spirit of this in the Old Testament. It's in 1 Chronicles, and David is telling his son Solomon how to build the temple. And he says, be strong and courageous and do the work, which I just love as like an expression in this ancient text. Do the work. It sounds very modern. Somebody just wiped out. I don't know if that was for art. Oh, they're acting out a scene. It's a play. There's a play happening behind me. That's Supercrawl.
Who are you?
I'm his psychiatrist.
Dr. Lundegaard?
But this refrain of be strong and courageous, this is used again and again and again in the Old Testament, but it's always in the context of war. Except this one time in Chronicles, where suddenly it's in the context of building the temple. And to build the temple is like a massive undertaking in the ancient world. I mean, it'd be massive today, never mind in the ancient world. You've got architects that are working together and massive columns and pillars and people working with different resources and different materials. You've got fine artists inside painting massive, I don't know, do they have paintings? All these different elements that have to come together. It's like a massive project to pull together the temple. And so to do it is not just going to require like being inspired or like finding your muse. It's going to require being strong and being courageous. Courage is the word that I think of most when I think about people that do creative work. See, creativity at its essence is imagining how something could be. So this means like you look at the world and you say, there is not what I could make. There needs to be a new candy business, or there needs to be a piece of art that reflects this, or there needs to be a building in this space, there needs to be a certain kind of family in the world, a certain kind of church community. All of this is the creative act. That you see something that doesn't exist, but then you have to have the courage to pull it into existence, to make something where there was nothing before, and that's terrifying. This is actually the very first thing we learn about God in the book of Genesis, is that God imagines a world when there is nothing, and then through words and actions calls into creation the entire universe. This is the God whose image we are told we're made in. We're made by a creative God, and so we are made to create things. Then this doesn't mean you have to go like create the big art exhibit or build a massive building. This isn't about things being huge and ambitious. This is about you finding the spots in your life where you're called to make something where there was nothing. This could be like a new way of parenting or a party for your friend who needs some encouragement. This might be advocating for something in your city. And this might be something creative. This might be picking up the guitar or learning to write poetry again. You probably know what I like to write. That was a nice affirmation. You probably know where you're called to make something when there was nothing. But here's what I know. You know where it is because it's a place where you feel afraid, and you're gonna need courage. A couple of years ago, Meg and I got an opportunity to go to California and spend time with Rob Bell, and he was talking about risk, and he was saying there's always a risk when you do the thing that you feel you have to have courage to do. There's the risk of failing, there's the risk of being misunderstood, there's the risk of being embarrassed, which I just think is a huge risk that we feel. So there's all those risks, but he said there's another kind of risk. There's just as much risk in not doing it. There's the risk that you'll look back on your life and always regret never doing the thing you knew in your gut you were supposed to give your time and energy to. If we're gonna be creators, if we're gonna make anything good in this world, we have to take that risk, and we need to have the courage to do so. So I'm walking in right now to tell this story, and I'll be honest, I'm scared. Even now, I've done this so many times, and I'm still terrified of this bombing. There's a risk to it, but there's also an opportunity. And so I'm gonna have courage, I'm gonna be strong, I'm gonna do the work. I hope you do too. Have a great Supercrawl week. You're not at Supercrawl, this is in the future. Hey, it. Go do it. Do it. Pull it up.
Honestly, this feels kind of Twin Peaks.